Meta Monday is back with another deck profile I've been testing with, and UlforceVeedramon won the second most votes for the poll, and this deck is quite interesting. As always, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. UlforceVeedramon has many tools that make it much more relevant in the upcoming BT11 meta. However, one problem. Tamer Discussion can leave your combo completely hosed. However, in looking over a lot of lists for Black War Greymon X from other creators, most individuals are only running 1 or 2 Black War Greymon and instead relying on the powerful option card of Hades Force for Tamer Discussion. Because of this option card in combination with cards like X Antibody only give you more memory if they choose to delete and Evo at the same time. But without further ado, let's cover the card by card, the strengths, the weaknesses, and the combos. This deck runs 4 level 2s, 13 level 3s, 11 level 4s, 8 level 5s, 6 level 6s, 0 level 7s, 1 option card, and 11 Tamers. For level 2s, this deck runs strictly Wanyamon. Wanyamon from BT11 allows you to draw a card once per turn when attacking if you have a blue Tamer in play. So long, Upamon! This is the new MVP of blue eggs for blue decks. While this card does require you to have a blue Tamer and attack, your opponent can't play around it like putting out a Digimon and forcibly digivolving into it. The same applies for draw cards like BT10 Bebidomon that requires your opponent to have 2 or more Digimon in play. While you could run either of these, BT11 does look at a more linear and raised meta again, with decks like Black War Greymon X only coming out if conditions are optimal, or even Grandis and Melga X. For level 3s, this deck runs 4 BT11 Veemon, 4 Sayakomon, 2 Madoki-Betamon, and 3 EX1 Veemon. BT11 Veemon returns as a new searcher that looks for a Digimon with Veedramon in its name, and 1 blue Tamer. But this is also another searcher that has an inheritable where once per turn, when you play a blue Tamer, gain 1 memory. This card becomes exceptionally helpful, especially with UlforceVeedramon if your memory fixed. Sayakomon is the MVP of this set. This card prevents your opponent from reducing Digivolution costs. Greymon X? Yep, I'm gonna charge you the full 4 memory for that Metal Greymon. Akuamon X? Gonna charge you the full 3 for that Grand Kuwagamon. Digizorption? No! In playtesting against Black War Greymon X, this card slowed my opponent down very well. 2 Madoki-Betamon is another floodgate for memory gain, and the EX1 Veemon is more for memory gaining when your Digimon is unsuspended once per turn. Substitution wise, you can adjust your floodgates how you see fit, but for a nationals list, Sayakomon is a huge recommendation. Level 4 wise, this deck runs 11 in the form of 4 BT11 Veedramon, 3 Lobomon, and 4 Promo Veedramon 0. BT11 Veedramon has both an amazing passive and inheritable effect. Your turn once per turn when you play a blue Tamer, draw 1 card. At 3 or even 4 memory, you may potentially have enough memory to climb to level 6 and start swinging away, because this Digimon's inheritable also gains you a memory once per turn when you play a blue Tamer. So much value. Lobomon is your simple hybrid for game which can clinch it in certain matchups. I try to avoid evolving into this as much as possible, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. As for Promo Veedramon, there's a pseudo-infinite combo that you can run with this deck assuming you have a large enough trash. But I'll be doing more testing on my own with a purple base. This Veedramon can provide you with another draw deeper into your deck to find what you need, and also trash important cards, but that's what that inheritable is there for. Moving to level 5s, the entire level 5 lineup is Arrow Veedramon. 4 copies of BT11 for gleaning the top 3 cards for any Tamer. Find 1, add 1. Find 2, add 2. Find 3, money. The inheritable allows you to activate one of your Rina Shinomaya's on-play effect, meaning if you want to give your Digimon with Veemon or Veedramon in its name blocker and evade, it's possible. Reveal the top 3 and add a Digimon with V in its name? Also possible. But my last 4 slots for Arrow Veedramon are Arrow Veedramon 0 and Arrow Veedramon from the starter deck. 0 allows me to get an additional DP buff if I really need it. While the security +1 can be critical, I'm going for a broader matchup in case I run into big things in the security, or even that DP reduction that can make UlForce small enough that the DP will be needed. The last Veedramon comes from the starter deck and gives security attack +1 if I have 8 or more cards and has passive jamming, meaning I could swing for one potential free check before going into my UlForce combo. In regards to level 6s, it's just UlforceVeedramon and UlforceVeedramon 0. The main man himself from BT11 makes an appearance with a slew of effects. When Digivolving, play a blue Tamer. Your turn when a blue Tamer is played, unsuspend this Digimon. And it's once per turn effect when this Digimon unsuspends, return one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand, and you increase the level by 1 for each blue Tamer in play. While this effect is stupid powerful, it is a mandatory effect, meaning if you don't have enough Tamers to return a level 6 but could potentially have enough Tamers, you'll need to pre-play them first. But other effects for UlforceVeedramon would enable it to attack and unsuspend repeatedly, assuming you have the Tamers. 0 simply covers extra level 6s in case you need them, although you could very well drop them in favor of level 7s like Blitz Omnimon or even Death Xmon. Option card wise, this deck runs only one, and that's Ice Wall. Variants I have seen utilize Blue Memory Boost, but from my experience with the deck, your Tamers do the heavy lifting and dig. A single security bomb for control is all you need, at least in my mind. And finally, 11 Tamers in the form of 4 BT11 Rina Shinomiya, 3 BT2 Rina Shinomiya, 2 Davis Motomiya, and 2 Taikamiya V-Tamer. BT11 Rina Shinomiya on play gives your Digimon with Veemon or Veedramon in its name blocker and evade. All turns, when a Digimon with Veedramon in its name is suspended, you can activate one of that Digimon's when Digivolving effects. I'll cover more what that means in the combos, but this effect is nutty and deserving of the secret rare slot. Its once per turn effect is simply gain you a memory when one of your blue Digimon is unsuspended. This card can also help protect your UlforceVeedramon against the powerful effect of Black Wargreymon X and evade. BT2 Rina Shinomiya is here to give you that plus 1000 DP and search for a Digimon with V in its name, while Davis Motomiya helps fix you to 3 memory, and V-Tamer Taikamiya rounds out the Tamers being a cheap 2 cost and a main trigger draw 1 or a plus 1000 DP buff. Substitution wise, some lists run more Davis Motomiyas, which I can see. But here is where you'll need to determine whether the extra 1000 DP buff is necessary, or you just want the generic blue Digimon search. Strengths and weakness wise, this deck has a lot of draw power to find your components, whether they be Tamers or Digimon with V in their name. But the primary weakness is the lack of protection and security bombs. Sure, you may have protection in the form of evade from Rina Shinomiya, but protection can only get you so far if you have Tamers in hand to unsuspend your UlForce constantly. Additionally, this protection doesn't protect you from bounce, whether it be to hand, deck, or security, and of course, DP reduction. This deck can also get hella convoluted for the fact that you have so many triggers on trigger effects when you do something. Combo-wise, your goal is to build any of your UlforceVeedramons and minimize playing your Tamers to a certain degree. The reasoning is, if you play all your Tamers out, you'll no longer be able to get the unsuspend effect with BT11 UlforceVeedramon. Luckily, if your trash gets filled for who knows why, 0 can be clutch. Your perfect stack comes in the form of Wanyamon, BT11 Veemon, BT11 Veedramon, and either your BT11 Veedramon or your starter deck Veedramon. With Veedramon, if you have a memory fixer like Davis Motomiya setting you to 3 memory, you can suspend Veedramon to reveal the top 3 cards and add all blue Tamers to your hand. The more Tamers you have in hand, the better your combo. If you were playing against a Black Wargreymon X that didn't have protection, playing a V-Tamer Taikamiya for 2 would put you to 1 memory, but also trigger both Veemon and Veedramon's inheritables to once per turn to gain you a memory, meaning you go from 1 back up to 3. You can now use the Taikamiya V-Tamer to spend to give your Digimon an extra plus 1000 DP, or draw a card. Either or, if Black Wargreymon X doesn't have protection when you Digivolve an UlforceVeedramon, a few things happen. Number 1, you play a blue Tamer from your hand, paying 4 memory to set your opponent to 1. 2, if the Tamer was Rina Shinomiya from BT11, you can immediately use her on-play effect to give UlforceVeedramon blocker and evade. And number 3, UlforceVeedramon unsuspends because a blue Tamer was played, and Rina Shinomiya gains you a memory, fixing it back to 0. Black War Greymon X's effect triggers, but because there's no protection effects from bounce, the Digimon is returned to the hand because you have 3 Tamers, which increases UlForce's bounce effect from level 3 to level 6. Turn player has priority, meaning you bounce before they have a chance to blow up. But say they did have protection and relieve the X antibody under Black War Greymon X. No problem. Now you can use UlforceVeedramon's Evade to suspend it. But because a Digimon with Veedramon in its name is getting suspended, Rina can now suspend to activate one of that Digimon's when Digivolving effect to play, yep, another blue Tamer. As a result, that Digimon can unsuspend and attack. Without the X antibody, Black War Greymon X cannot redirect attacks now and will be forced to use Blocker if it has the inheritable. Not to mention, the new blue Tamer, if it was Rina Shinamaya, will gain you another memory. In general, this deck feels similar to Melga X, but has a few backup strategies in the form of hybrids from the Tamers. What are your thoughts on UlforceVeedramon, and are you interested in seeing an infinite loop variant of this deck? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you next week on another Meta Monday episode. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.